Amish Mindset. Let's like, share, and subscribe. Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? I'm surviving, barely. I live in hell. If you would like to support my work, if you get a mic drop, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a new author, a new book to read, please help me out. I'm in really bad times. Desperation is it's here. Still have the internet. Had to pawn a lot of stuff to pay my bills last month, and I'm depleted. My house is up for sale, and I have a lot going on. Which brings me to today's what am I doing? Spiritual soul advice. Journaling. I did 2 readings today. I posted them on my channel, and I asked Spirit, what is something that can help the collective right now? With all the energies coming in, there's a new moon coming in tomorrow in Virgo. That's my ascending sign. And what happened to me cleaning out my house? Rereading a couple of things makes this really important for everybody. Journaling. Why? You could journal about anything. There are actual people, which I might be doing in the near future once I get settled in and into my new established life, would like to create a journal because some people don't know where to start. People don't have sometimes a creative mind to just come up and put things down, or it's not a consistent basis. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll tell you in a minute. The last time I wrote in this, and there's a lot of empty pages, August 11th, 2021 was the last time I wrote in this particular journal. And I started this on 12/12/16. I'm bad. I didn't keep up to my own standard, but I'll go into why. Prior to this one journal, I've had from high school all through college journals. I wrote in a journal almost every day. Whatever came to my mind, whatever was going on in my life at that time, relationships, friendships, stuff going on at home, I wrote it all down. Journaling is a very good way to ground your energy, but to get it out. Sometimes we don't have another person to talk to. Sometimes when you talk to somebody, they might not have the experience in giving you the advice that you need, or they are not interested in what you're trying to vent with them too, so they kind of like block you out. Journaling could be done in so many forms and facets. There are journals that for empaths, you open it up and it gives you an activity to write about. So like, how was your day today? How many people did you walk in to your experience? How many energies did you take in? Do you feel different today? Many different exercises. What words correlate with how you feel today? There's other journals when people pull tarot cards. I just happen to have my deck out for the Key of Destiny does talk about the tarot. And, I'll just pull the top card here, the devil, what's in my life that's obsessive, that's not healthy for me, that's counteracting things in my life? What is the devil doing? And then people journal down what devil moment they had. Right now, I'm going through the tower moment. I got a lot of this energy around me. And the devil's not what it really means. It can, but like people literally take the tarot, but you shouldn't. Like the death card is a rebirth. It does not necessarily mean death. It's the ending of something for something new to come through. That's what I'm in. I'm in this tower moment where everything is breaking away. There's chaos. Things are falling away from me. But I have a death card coming. And hope a Wheel of Fortune that came out of my cards earlier. People write about what they interpret those cards should mean for them. Oracle cards, the same idea. You know, what is spirit trying to channel through you? Let's say you pull your own cards, or you get an affirmation. Why did you get this card? Why is it asking you to look into this situation? Because it's to heal you. Sometimes we don't have verbally the words to convey how we feel. Sometimes journals can be drawings. When I was a little kid, really small, when I was able to like legibly write, I wrote dream journals. I found them. I hid them from my mother. I had my master bathroom and my closet are touching, and we had, you know, an issue with the plumbing. The guys had to come in through my room and knock a piece of my drywall out of my closet to go and get to the pipes that needed to be replaced. And they just made it like a window. And I put my journals behind the wall so that my mother could never throw them out or find them. My mother was very against my journaling and my dream journals as a kid because of the content that was in them. I totally forgot until I started cleaning out my house that those even were there. I forgot about them. When I read through them, it brought tears to my eyes. Rereading what I wrote as a child is traumatizing beyond belief because I can't believe I'm still here. The vivid dreams. And when I was a child, I did not have a blanket of cloudiness over my foresight, my third eye. I saw shit. Okay, whether you have abilities or not, people get stuff in their vivid dream state. What the fuck was I seeing as a child? I hope no one else has to see or experience. I had to have those experiences to learn from it and to understand what I am. But I was heavily attacked without my knowledge. I did not have the comprehension or the knowledge that I have now that I don't even know how old I was when I wrote those. They still hold a very huge chunk of importance to reread them. It shows me how much stronger I am now, and I can heal that self, my child self, while going through that trauma again. Reading and visualizing what I saw as a kid, I can heal it. I can transmute all that evil that was in my life and trying to influence me and trying to take my life. And I can transmute that into light. Going through college, the relationship stuff with men, my friends, it teaches when you read your writings what to avoid in people. We're here. This is an experiment. This is school. So we go through a school we're gonna fail. We're gonna fall. We're gonna have really bad relationships. We're gonna have a lot of toxic people come in and out of our lives. But through experience, you're gonna learn what is not compatible to your energy. What is somebody not needing to be in your life? Whether they be the narcissist, whether they be, not all narcissists are bad. Some people just really think all about themselves. Doesn't make them a bad person, just for some people, it's toxic. And that could go with anybody. So, rereading those journals, finding those journals, reading about my dreams, reading about my life, it shows me now how much I put myself through, the lessons that needed to be learned at those times. I could revisit and go, I see this cycle popping up again. Now I have it on record that I had already this cycle. Let's not repeat it. Not only is journaling a good way to vent, it's your private space. It's your own. You could call it your own. You could do it through poetry. You could write and it makes zero sense. Whatever you want to put in your journal, it's your journal. You can write your dreams. You can have a separate journal. I didn't start this one yet. This was supposed to be from my notes. I wrote runes. I'll actually read you what I wrote here. I don't know what this is from. I wrote notes on something. Like I was making this a note journal from a book, but I don't know if this is from a book. Sorry, guys. I just opened this up. I thought it was fresh. One of the phrases I was walking in time through and through. Taking control of the journey, fighting the shadows lurking in the corner. The energy running is stale, confused, judgmental energy. Can pass through the illusion. This I think is from Spirit. The blockage is selfishness, the fear of scammers and judgments. As a collective, this is gathering with two separate energy disconnections. Take no action and disconnection. One branch is self and ego, trust, and blockages. Finding worthiness within others to follow through cause and effect. This is from Spirit. I think this was last month. See, this is like why journaling is important, because you can go back and like now disseminate what the hell is going on. I was talking about the 9/11 syndrome, where everybody's united and then, a few months later it's back to normal, like nothing happened. And then we all get to that feeling, but it lacks each year when there's an anniversary. That less and less people show up to the memorial, less and less people forget in time. Not that we never should forget that moment, but it's the concept of unity and coming together. And that day, So many people in so many communities were affected. And the spirit is responding. It's like blockage is selfishness. The fear of scammers, which there are a lot out there. There's a lot of bots. There's a lot of AI going on right now. You don't know if you're really talking to a real person, and it might be a generated bot giving you a shit response on a page. And judgments as a collective. There's a lot of infighting in a lot of different communities. One of the communities that I follow, there's a lot going on, this back and forth, tit for tat nonsense. We're never going to get where we need to go if everybody continues to have this tit for tat. Where there's people who talk the talk but take zero action, and then there's people that are disconnecting because they're really fucking over it. They're done. I think at this time when I wrote this, and I'm seeing more of it now. Now that's like almost, a month in. I stopped feeding myself information. People like send me messages with videos all the time. I sometimes watch it if it's like something that I'm getting told to watch from upstairs. But 98% of the time, I'm not. Done. I just had 2 weeks of drama, chaos in a nightmare. I'm still living in it, right? It takes time for me to process things and to take it all in and analyze it. I didn't even write about it yet because it's not over. But I'm processing the release and purge of my parents. Now that's not easy. My father on Sunday will be gone and passed away 17 years. It was 17 years since I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. It's a long time to think about. 17 years ago, your parent is passed. And now, 17 years later, everything he worked so effing hard for and did not get to enjoy, by the way, I have to let it go. His legacy has to go. It's not an easy process. I had to choose the items that I want to keep of my father to keep his spirit with me. He's always with me. But as you get older, we don't know what the future holds for us. We don't know when the ascension is really going to happen. So what happens if I get Alzheimer's? I program that into my existence. Not that I want to, but we all program and contractually make things happen in our existence for soul growth. What happens if I do that? So if I get something of my father's that I keep, I can remember him, knowing that's his essence. Same with my mother. She's only dead 5 years. And I can't even fucking believe that because it feels like it happened yesterday. But I wrote all about that stuff too. But now I'm in the midst of this chaos, having my life ripped up away from me, having to learn how to let it go, having to be okay with going to a foreign place that I honestly visited once. Spirit directing me and letting myself like raise my hands up and go, okay, I'm going to let you guide me. Let's go. And having all these strangers and these strange energies in my house, people are like freaking looking in the craziest of places. I'm like, my toilets are clean. Why are you looking at my toilet? Like, you're lifting up the seat and everything. What the fuck is your problem? So there's a lot of crazy shit going on in my life. I'm gonna write it down, by the way. But journaling is super important, I believe. There are a lot of people like myself that are going through a lot and just can't convey it all to somebody. There's a lot of people going through things that are so beyond rough that they don't want to sound like they're complaining all the time. Like I sound like I'm complaining constantly. And I am because I'm upset with society. I'm really over society. I'm over humanity at some aspect. Um, what's been going on when you find out, it's like it doesn't serve anybody's good purpose. People are still in their ego self. People are still selfish and inside of their minds. Why I came up with the Amish mindset, Spirit showed me something, and I'm hoping to write a book about it. There's a lot of books I started and never finished. That's my Aries trait. But I could take what I've gone through in my life and reread it and show myself and prove to myself, look, I made it through this really difficult time in my life. And that time, and that time, and this time, and that situation, I did it. I made it through. Journaling is very important. You want to be able to keep it up consistently. Again, it doesn't need to be every day. You set the standards on when you want to write, but I do advise you write. Some people do automatic writing where they channel messages from spirit. It takes a while. It's a long process. I still can't get it down. I've actually the medium that was helping me out figure this all out gave me some exercises to try to time both my lobes in my brain together. So I'm ambidextrous by default. I'm a righty, but I can also do a lot with my left hand. Like if I could do the alphabet, like sign my name, this hand's more stronger, but I can still do it with the left. A lot of people can't coordinate both ways. He told me to start writing with my left hand to strengthen this side of my brain, to use my left side more. It's not neat, but it's legible. So it's like working those muscles up to doing something that you don't do on an everyday basis. So I suggest go to Barnes and Nobles, go to Amazon. They have 1,000,005 different types of journals. They have pretty journals. They have ones with stones on them. They have ones that close with bamboo. Get something that you enjoy looking at, that you're going to put on your, nightstand or in your drawer, but when you look at it, it makes you happy. It invokes something that you're going to put a meaningful, purposeful wording in there. Sentences, poems, feelings, whatever you're going through, you're getting that energy out of you. It might not completely dissipate, but getting your thoughts out and onto paper is better than holding them inside and not releasing it. I think that's why I do a lot of, I've been doing and focusing more on these videos, because I don't want to burden the people that have been helping me all the time with nothing but like, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm this, I'm that. And it's not anything pretty. I try to lighten up things. I try to joke around, but at the deep, dark end of the day, I've had very, very dark nights. I didn't want to move on anymore. It's not easy, especially when you're all by yourself. You know, sometimes we don't want to burden other people with our problems because they're going through things too. Write it down. You're going to look back on those experiences and those dreams. I have a whole binder full of notes. Like when I do my insights on books, I make notations outside of what I'm doing. You know, things will come to me. The other day, I got my starseed brother. I want to say he's my brother. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. His name and a sister's name. Athenian and Arabella. Something to that effect. They came to me through a dream, very vivid. They showed themselves to me. The dude was fucking tall. He looked like Loki from the Thor movie series. Similar, not exact. Really handsome. And my sister looks very similar to me. Same hair color, jet white, like not this color, white, gorgeous. Tall. Like, why am I so short? But if I didn't write those names down as I heard them and as they were spoken to me in a journal or on a piece of paper, I would forget about it. I got so much shit going on that when that came to me, I'm like, oh, I woke up, I reached for a paper and I wrote the names down. It's important. You don't know what you're going to get when you're in your dream state. You don't know where you're traveling to. Some of us can remember and a lot of us don't. I don't remember everything that I dream. There's some days I pass out, I'm done. I wake up and I'm like, what world am I in? Because I didn't feel like I got any sleep, but I was out. So I was probably traveling somewhere else. That's my theory. If you wake up extremely tired and you were like out like a light and you can't remember jack shit and you wake up feeling exhausted, that you're probably working out elsewhere in the universe. I had a 6-month period during the winter. That was me. That was me. I exhausted, doing a lot of work. I didn't write those experiences down. I don't know why. And even now, it's hard it is because for me, there's so much in my mind that it's going to be like puking on like 25 pages of paper. And that labor alone is like, I don't want to do that. But if you keep it up every day, or when things come to you, I have to get into that habit again because I have at least 12 to 13 journals that's in meaty books, back and forward and back pages. I had extremely nice print as a kid, wrote very small, and those journals took about a year to do. And some days I just wrote a few lines. Other days I wrote pages. There were some months I didn't write at all. But I always came back to my journals. Always wrote down what I was feeling, even if it was a line. And most of the time it was like, I'm in the fucking void. Everything's the void, the blackness of the void. And come to find out why, I have a freaking portal in my closet. That's the void of space time. No freaking clue. That when I was a kid and I was writing the void all the time, I had no idea what that void was. Void can encompass anything, right? The abyss, the unknown, the vastness of space, the void, before the Big Bang happened, or whatever you want to say how this created. In my closet. That's the portal. The void. Who knows how many times I went through that thing as a kid. And then that was the feeling that I was exuding half my childhood, is the void. There are a lot of different types of journals. If you're starting out and you're like, I don't know, Allison, what to do, what's going on. Water, by the way. Get one of those first. Whatever, again, this is how things come to me. If I'm in a store or I'm browsing on Amazon, I like to do that. Many of us do. It doesn't matter what store. I get a lot of my, when I was able to afford them, a lot of my journals come from Barnes and Nobles. This one is leather. And it's huge. See? I used to do, when I was learning about the runes from like Odin's runes, I used to pick a rune a day. Just take a rune, write it down, and it would be rune of the day is radial, journey, planning, change, cooperation. I'd pick an oracle card for the day. Clean sweep, spring clean my soul. Horoscope. And I used to do this all the time. I can't read half of what that says because I would get shut down. And no, it's not of anything. World War II stuff. Don't ask me why. I don't even want to go into it. Yeah, so I used to do a lot of this. I used to pick things and write down what the message was for that day. And it would set the tone for the day for me. And I think it was a good way for me to learn the runes, and a really good way for me to compare the runes to the oracle and the horoscope. Now you could do journals like that. I used to do it every day. I used to look at my, daily horoscope and look it up online, write it down. Before that, I would pick a rune, I would pick a affirmation, I would pick an oracle card, and I would pick, read, the astronomical alignments and stuff. And I would do that right before when I got out off the bus. I used to walk over to Starbucks, meet my friend Charles. Hey, Charles, if you ever watch my videos, my friend Charles worked and works for the college that I went to. And perchance, we used to sit next to each other at the Starbucks all the time until we started talking to each other. And then he found out I went to the college when he was working there. I'm like, I never saw you. What goes on here? Awesome person. But then he would do his reading and I would do my thing. And it set my pace for the day. It set my tone for the day. Writing all of that down, and then, by the time I wrote everything down and finished my bagel and my coffee, I would walk over to my building to go to work. Um, so you can make that a habit every morning, when you wake up, if you are going to work, but if you do breakfast before you go to work and you have a couple of minutes, do have a routine. Set an affirmation for yourself for the day. You know, go through, affirmation cards. They have decks that I've shown in my past. Pick something out that inspires you. Give gratitude. Write down your gratitude. What are you thankful for? You can also do like the Amish mindset. What can you do today to help somebody else out? And write down 3 things that you could do during your day that doesn't exert much energy. Again, we have to start small with this concept. Then move in on a bit, make a chain of succession so that more people can join in. What can you do to help somebody out? And write it down. Oh, I'm going to go through Facebook today. I'm going to like a few people's posts, and they're going to be at random, and they're not going to be friends. Set limitations on yourself too. I'm going to go through YouTube on my lunch break later, and if I see something that I'm resonating with, I'm going to like it. And I might subscribe to the channel to help that person out and help them grow. These little things add up if you do it every day. Write it down. Set goals for the day. Set goals for the week, for the month. Write it down. Get it out. Because sometimes we forget. We have busy lives. Many of us. Some of us don't. But even still, we still have a nonstop brain that constantly gets in stuff and it filters it out. Sometimes we forget things if we don't write them down. I didn't even realize I had journals behind my wall. If I didn't think about or go through my moving, it would have sat there another 37 years. It was only until I started taking everything out of my closet that I was like, oh, shit. No way. I'm by myself. I had to hide them from my mom. What happens if you are a wife, a husband, we have kids, you don't want them going through your shit. Get a lockbox. Find a hiding space that only you're going to know about. You should be able to trust your partner not to go through your fucking thoughts. Especially if it might be because of them, right? Start small. If you don't have a direction, find something that you could do on an everyday basis, write it down. Doesn't need to be in a book. It could be on a piece of paper. It could be on a Post-it. It could be on index cards. Get in the habit of getting it out. Good and bad. I'm very thankful that I wrote journals for half my life. Although I am disappointed in myself, I really am, that I didn't keep up with my journaling since my mother's passing. I needed a break. And sometimes I didn't want to process everything all at once. When somebody dies, that was your everything, and that held a very important purpose in your life, and that gets taken away. It takes time to go through the mourning stages. And I don't mourn like other people because I know what's going on upstairs. It's just the physical presence that's missing that you have to adapt to. And you know how many times I was walking out of work thinking I'm going to call my mom, I'm going to tell her my day, I'll see you later. like the compulsion to do that, it took me a while to have to stop myself in my tracks to say, you could talk to her at any time in your head, Allison. She can hear you. She's not going to hear you on the phone. So we have to process things in our own timing. Sometimes our dreams, if we're doing a dream journal, you don't remember them, and don't get pissed off that you don't, because you're probably somewhere working. You're in your astral body. You're journeying behind. You're going and doing. You don't know unless you remember. But then you would write it down if you did. Don't worry if you can't remember. Put the intention out there before you go to sleep that, hey, spirit guides, hey, creator, I want to remember my dreams. Please allow me this gift. It's up to you. But I wanted to do this to explain how that has impacted my life. And I'm sure there are many of you out there who do journaling constantly and all the time. Write in the comments, email me if you want to keep it private. How did journaling help you? Sorry, I think it's gonna rain. My body's killing me. How has it helped you? Do you reread your stuff years later? I went through a lot of my stuff, packing it up, sitting there on the floor, crying, reading how devastating my life has been. What I was going through as a child, no one should ever have to go through. And not to devalue my experience, everybody has their own experiences. No one's different from me. We all had something traumatic happen. Some people have the greatest of lives. They are in abundance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'm happy for them. Some of us did not choose that life. I chose the hard one. I chose a very difficult life. And all for that betterment of me, right? To keep strength and perseverance going. But the things that I used to see are terrifying, especially through the lens looking back out of a child's eyes. I thankfully was more curious and into horror films. So the things that I saw as a kid watching horror films actually helped desensitize me to what I was actually seeing in real life. I mean, obviously in the metaphysical sense, because guess what? A lot of people can't see or have that open to see. That's okay. And again, everybody's abilities are different and everybody's comes in and out, waxes and wanes. Some people aren't even aware that they have gifts and abilities. We all do. They're all different from each other. Write it down. Get it out. Whatever it is that you need to get out, it doesn't need to make sense to anybody but you. I was right. I mean, like what I wrote did not really make too much sense. I made sense of it because I'm like, oh, I'm sitting here looking at it like, what the fuck did I write? And then I'm like, oh, that's a channeling from spirit that I wrote down. Like I'm doing flow charts and carrots. Coming into the light doesn't have to mean doing it alone. It's true. We all have to be here for each other. We all have a piece of the puzzle. It's a matter of putting them together. And the more people that come out and persevere and step into their authenticity of who they are and be authentic about who you are, fuck what other people have to say. Do you know how many people bashed me my entire life? Half of my journals are about what other people projected onto me. And for a while, I actually embraced it and ran with it and said, "You're going to call me a freak? Now you're going to see the freak." Oh, I'm gothic? I'm going to show you what gothic really is. Fuck you. That's what I did. I've always been my authentic self since I was a little kid. I didn't let anybody dictate to me shit. People made fun of the way I dressed. Well, counteract it, battle chess piece, move, score, I win, I got your pawn. I'm an Aries. I'm a flaming bitch. But I'm the sweetest little cupcake ever. For real, I have that New York attitude. I'm nice to you, don't fuck with me. Just plain and simple. That just should go for everybody though. Doesn't matter where the hell you live. Honestly. But there's this people that are brought up here have a certain dynamic in their personalities that exhibit through everybody. It's bizarre. That's a noticing. Write down your noticings. What do you notice? You're on the bus, you're on the train, you're sitting in the park. What are you noticing? What about nature makes you happy? You're at the beach. What are you noticing about the energy? What are you looking at? Analyze it. Write it down. What animals are you seeing popping into your life? Pick up a trend. Every day that you write, make noticings. Write it down. It also helps us not to be so consumed with the computer. I noticed going through the agonizing hours of cleaning and boxing. I just put binaural beats on and sit in my thoughts, go through everything, use my man muscles, bring everything down the stairs from my attic. Almost killed myself, by the way, not intentionally. I had a 125-pound steel metal lawnmower. Back in the day, 80s style, maybe 70s. I don't know why my parents kept it up in the attic. It was there. I don't know. And I had to like my lifeguard training. I got it down, but then there goes my back. My legs gave out and I fell on the floor. I didn't know how to fall by now. I've done it a lot. And just sat there and like, okay, here's my phone out of my ass. Can't feel my legs. All right, let's see how long this is going to take. 40 minutes later, I finally got feeling back in my legs. I'm the grandma that said, falling and I can't get up. Again, I'm giving you my personal story as my journey, as an example of things that you guys should take and understand what to do and run with it and do it in your own way. I just want to give some helpful tips on something that helped me process my life. It's never too late to start a journal. It's never too late to reread your journals if you have written them. It's never too late to start back up again. There's a reason why I stopped. I think I was overwhelmed and there was too much in my head and I couldn't process it all and sometimes there are things that you need to just let go and forget in other ways. Write it in the comments if you have journaled. What your journal looks like. I have a bunch of them. I got drawing journals. I used to sit there, in art class, um, especially in high school. My teacher asked us to get a little notebook or a sketchbook. And before class, if we finished a project early, to do, pick a topic and to draw about it. Just to get the creative juices flowing, just to think about a new project you want to start and, just get a sketch down. Some people are visual learners, some people draw, some people doodle. You could doodle in your journal. You could do whatever you want in your journal. Be creative. Some people get stickers. Some people put pictures. Some people sit there and cut out the magazines and do story, like, those dream boards, but they do it smaller and they put it in their journal. Like, here's what I want to achieve this week. Practical things. We're not talking about getting $1 million, winning the lotto, and things that don't happen to normal people. That could be on your big dream board. Like the poster board that opens up at the science fair. Dream board. Smaller things to go in your journal, in my opinion. You don't want to overwhelm with the big castle mansion house that you always wanted. The Louis Vuitton glasses and handbag. The Ferrari or the Lamborghini you want. Those are fine, but that goes on your dream board. Be practical with your journal. Because when you look back, you're going to be like, why did I think like that? It's good to have those dreams. It's good to want to achieve those dreams, but be practical about your goals. Be realistic and logical about your goals. If you're doing a goal journal or a gratitude journal, you don't want to get sucked into the greed. And not to say if you won something that's greedy or that you worked hard for something, you don't deserve something nice. Not saying that at all. You could be doing something more with your abundance if you can afford to have Louis Vuitton glasses and a handbag. If you did something charitable, did you give away something nice to somebody? Share your abundance first and what you have. Then if you have the access, great. We have to get out of this greed system. We have to get out of this designer nonsense. Yes, are designer clothing like amazing? Absolutely. Guys, I used to work in Manhattan. I used to work and walk around Fifth Avenue. Don't think I haven't passed by those purses. I love bags. Don't think I didn't look and I love shoes. Don't think I didn't sit there and envision myself in those outfits and having those items. Of course I did. Was it ever practical for me to think that? Absolutely. It's to show myself that I can achieve that if I want to go for it. But practically, in reality, it's something I will never have. Not because I can't obtain it, because it's not practical for me. It's not how I am. I don't carry myself. I wear camos, jeans, and t-shirts. And because I don't have air conditioning, I put these on. That's just who my personality is. If I have to go somewhere nice and dress nice, I'm usually looking on Amazon for dresses. Once in a while, I'll check out BB if they have a sale. And again, everything's sale. I don't, for me, waste. I have bought a Coach bag once in my life. that coach is that big, but it was on sale. It was at the Tanger Outlets in the Hamptons. But then it's in the garbage because it got ruined. So again, I go for the $30, I don't care, male backpacks. Don't care. That's just me though. Write it down. Set goals for yourself, but be logical about them. Get goals that you can achieve. When I lost my job, on a piece of paper, I put a bunch of goals down and how to try to achieve them. Not that I was going to achieve them, because I didn't, but I put the energy into it. So one goal was to do something that I was not comfortable doing and bring it into reality. Well, this channel is something that I did out of my comfort zone. It's something that scared me, but I did it anyway. Apply for jobs. Try remote. I'm not good at the phone thing. I'm good at reading scripts, but when it comes to doing the computer stuff, guys, I did not do well in the computer stuff in college, and that was the easy stuff. The first version of Photoshop was what I learned on. Final Cut Pro, the first version of it, is what I started with. I sucked. They taught me coding. I suck. This doesn't compute with me. It's just not for me. I tried it because it is something outside of the zone of my comfort. I didn't do well, and I didn't get those jobs. And a lot of them were scams, by the way. I wrote down goals and I went out and did them. Was I going to be successful in them? You don't need to be. I'm proud of myself that I took the time to write down things that I wanted to do to help myself. Things that scare me, things that are going to challenge me, things that are going to push me outside of my comfort zone. And I tried them. Was I successful? Well, here I am. I can't pay my bills and I have to put my house up for sale. But my goal with this move, or whatever is going to happen with me, and again, I have to release that and put it into the universe that I'm going to get divine help. Wherever I land, I'm destined to land. Whatever I do from there on is what I'm destined to do and be successful at it. And that might be a plethora of different things. I like to do a whole bunch of shit. I don't like one thing, and that's it. I like making my creations. There was a whole reason why I made the channel in the first place, was to show what I made. Well, when the money ran dry to buy the epoxy resin, can't do that anymore. I'm going to start reading books. I'm going to start talking about spiritual topics. I'm going to do a whole bunch of shit. Why not? One-stop shop for different ideas, different things. Although everybody's like, well, you should separate everything and make different channels. You can scroll through. Everything that I do has a divine purpose anyway. I again am the messenger. Spirit just channels through me, giving you all messages to help you. That's my job. That's my mission here. I was talking to a friend that I used to work with today. Because it's almost New York starts school in September, and I was like, "Did you hear from anybody? Like, do you know what's going on?" And there's a mass exodus out of the school I worked at, and we were just getting on the topic. How I have a cramp. What's going on? And we got to talking. We were like, if I can have my dream job, what would it be? She's upset that I'm not able to go back because of the stupid mandates and the things that are unconstitutional here. There's a lot of good people leaving from that school. I know what I actually it's not the principal. It's other entities that are there that are making it really hard for the teachers. Parents aren't given the same uh respect as the teachers. That should change though. But we were talking, I was like, a dream job. I would love to have a bookstore that adopts out kitties. And there's a bunch of bookstores in around the country that have a cat cafe or a bookstore that has cats. They're twofold knowledge and cuteness. Can't go wrong with that. And I would put, it would have a bookstore that had cats in it that you could sit and read, have a lounge area, and that I can adopt the cats out. And then I would have like an event space for spiritual people to do tarot card readings or psychic readings, have a gem area, you know. I don't know if anybody's been in the Strand, the bookstore in New York. Very similar to that. There's like, items to buy that are not necessarily anything to do with books. But it collectively helps the community when people are doing like instead of an Etsy store, they're doing it in their local their neighborhood. They're selling their gems, their wares, their crafts, what they make. I would have a little section for that, and like in more of a community garden in the back for anybody to go back there if they want to grab a piece of fruit or get some veggies. Community, everybody pitches in to do the work. Have at it. Free food. That would be a fun job. And me and her would be in bliss because we like the same stuff. So you can also write down those things in a journal and try to manifest it if you want to do that. What is practical for you? Not every day you're going to wake up and have a good day. Write about it. Why did you wake up? Ask yourself. You don't feel good. Why don't you? Write it down. Don't make it a chore. Make it something enjoyable. Some people take time out of the day to go meditate. Why don't you, before you meditate, let your mind relax, get all the busyness up here in a book because you're physically thinking about it, you're writing it down, and it's like your vent. So when you can go into meditation, you have a clearer sense of mind. Journaling is very important, I feel. You can make a journal out of anything. You could doodle. You could write on white pieces of paper, printer paper. A journal is anything you call it to be. As long as you are physically writing down your words. Doesn't matter what language. Doesn't matter if there's symbols or that you doodled the whole entire time. You're like, I don't know what to write, but you're doodling. Perfect. It's getting your mind to get it out. And I think if more people did this, we'd be healing each other easier. It takes years. I just went back and reread not all of my journals, but a lot, or just flipped through the pages to see what was going on in my life at this time. It's heavy stuff. What I wrote down is like not a walk in anybody's park that I would want to take ever again. But those were things that I needed to go through in order to make me a stronger person and give me conviction. I now have to set goals that I'm not ever going to repeat that feeling, those emotions, and not allow it and not consent to it anymore. Now that I'm older and I know what I want for myself, that's what I want to manifest. That's what I'm going to write down. What am I grateful for? What are my ideas? Now that I'm like an open, book with what do I want to do, I can go in and go back to school, find a way to pay for it if I want to do that, or take courses and change a career again. It's never too late and you're never too old to learn. You keep learning. There's no not stop learning. You stop learning when you are back with the source. Because then you have obtained it all. You never stop learning. This is school. Life is school. Your immortal soul is school. And the more you encompass, the more you can help and teach other people. The more they take in, the more they're going to do their own work and they are going to pass it on. And it's a successional chain that goes on through eons and eons. That's all this is. Be the lighthouse that you are meant to be here. Anchor yourself. Use the ability to write your feelings, convictions, your passions, your dreams, how you're feeling, good and bad. You hate somebody, you want to rip somebody's face off, write it down. Because in 2 years, you're going to look back and go, wow, I allowed that to happen to me? I allowed this person to get up. What? You're going to go look back. I looked back and said, what the hell was I even freaking out about this shit for? I had to go through it to learn. And when I reread a lot of the stuff, I'm like, wow, I stressed about a lot of stuff I shouldn't have. But if I didn't stress at it at the time, I would have never got the lessons that I needed. So I forgive myself for putting myself through nightmarish hell for, most of the time, valid stuff. Not gonna lie. Very, very valid stuff. Some stuff was trivial. Write in the comments. I want to know what kind of journal I have. This one is smooth. It doesn't have a lock on it. It's just open. This one is leather. Again, I got this in 2016. This one snaps. I have ones that have string that wrap around, that has a tree of life on it. I have one that has visual imagery on it. I have a few that have, you can color on the cover. You can take color markers and color it in. There are nice tarot ones if you are into tarot or oracle that you open up and it gives you directions. There's journals for empaths. If you notice that a lot of people are taking other people's energies in, or the world, a lot of us are taking in other energies that are not belonging to us, and we don't even realize it because it's overwhelming. And it's also us going through our transformations, but it's heavy. There are journals just about for anything that you need. If you are somebody that just can't off the cuff write, get one of those. It's going to prompt you. You don't have to do too much thinking. You're going to do your own thinking, but it's going to give you like the topic to think about. It's going to ask you to do something. What are you grateful for today? Write it down, right? So I really encourage everybody to start journaling. Pick out a journal, and if you can't afford one, again, anything could be a journal. You can draw a cover on it. You could doodle a cover from printer paper. You can get a kid's notebook. That's what I wrote my youth journals on, in a notebook. It doesn't matter as long as it's a piece of paper and you have a pen or a pencil. That could be your journal. Make it special. Personalize it. Make it yours. Besides your writing. You know, when the kids have coloring projects, well, why don't you make your own project? And and lastly, kids need to learn how to journal. Not only is it going to help their fine motor skills, not only is it going to be something that they can keep as something personal for them that no one else is going to touch. My mother touched my journals and she freaked the fuck out, and it kind of stopped and blocked me from doing a lot of that all the time. Don't do that to your kids. Yes, I saw demonic shit. I had very scary, fucked up dreams. I saw things and my mother was freaked out because she's not from the generation that was accepting of any of this. She thought the devil was in the house. There's no lying in that. She was afraid. She thought I was crazy. We're in a different time frame now that most people are opened up to those topics. And if the kid see changes, ask them to write in the journal. Try, if you have the compulsion to read it, don't tell them. Or do it question them in such a way like, I see the darkness around your eyes. Have you been sleeping? Are you having nightmares? You want to talk to it with me? Give that conversation piece to your kid. They will tell you eventually. Good or bad. They need to express themselves besides being on a phone or an iPad, tablet. The art of writing, conveying your feelings is very important. Your kids, if you have them, should have their own journal to express their feelings, their dreams, what they, if they remember and recall their dreams, they're usually past lives. What is it that maybe you could find a connection with them? You never know. Write in the comments what you think about journaling. I would love to hear it. I have to get back into my habit about journaling and slow down my thoughts so that I could convey a clear message so that in 10 years, when I look back on this hell and nightmare that I'm living, it might be the last time that I read about hell in a handbasket happening because I'm going to project a better life for myself. Sending each and every one of you love and light. Please let me know what you're doing, what your journals are looking like, if you're keeping up with it or not. Be honest, because it's fine. No one's here judging you. If you have a story you would like to share with me, please email me. I would love to read it. Again, I have a lot of chaos going on in my life, so if I don't get to every one of your emails, please don't get upset. It's not that I'm ignoring it or that it's just what's going on, but I will get to it. Please have a safe weekend. There is a new moon coming in Virgo. Manifest, manifest, manifest. And prayer warriors, please pray for me. I need something to happen this weekend with my house. I need it to be sold. I need it to be not a long waiting for that money to get in my account, that it comes in quickly with all the highest abundance possible. I thank you guys. See you on the next one. Have a great night. This is Spiritual Soul Advice. Out.